Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, let's start from our first big topic. The first is teaching reading to young learners. So, what is reading? So, reading means the ability to draw meaning from the printed page and interpreted these informations appropriately. So, it is not only about reading the black and white, but also catch the message that tried to send by the writer of the books or the text. Linz from the British Council said that hear a word before you can say it, and say a word before you can read it, and read a word before you can write it. So the four language scale usually comes in order. First, we are able to listen, then we are able to speak. After that, we are able to read. Then the last one, we are going to be able to write. Okay, so what are the strategies to teach reading? First, before you teach your students to able to catch the message of the writer, help them to preview a text or preview a books. You can ask them to preview or guess what is the books or what is the text about by looking at the titles and also the heading. Headings mean the big topics or the subtopic. And if the books consists a lot of photo, in the photo usually we have captions, so we can read the books easier by seeing the photo captions and look at the graphic. For a younger learner, a young learner's books usually have more picture than the text. So yes, they are very visualized, very visual. So the writer of the children books usually put more pictures than the text to attract their attentions and to help their comprehensions on the text. Next is predicting. Using prior predicting. So using prior knowledge on the topics and the writer to guess the reading content. Okay. That's why usually before we give the students a reading text, we usually like having a brainstorming, like having a chit chat, asking them about in relation with the topic we are going to give to the students. Next is skimming and scanning. I believe that all of you already familiar with this, so you can also teach this skill to young learners. So skimming and scanning, like reading in a quick way by seeing the title, the heading, the subtopic, and also the picture as well as the graphic. Or you can also give them prior questions to help them go directly to the answer, to looking for the answer in the text. Okay, next is guessing. Yeah. Do you ever have this experience? So when you read a books, you have to stop for many times because you meeting some difficult words or new word for you, and of course it disturb uh, your comprehensions because you have to stop, open the dictionary, go back reading again, and then go back looking at the dictionary. Yeah, sometimes it will be annoying. You will lose a lot of time to check your dictionary. So sometimes we don't have to know all the words in the text or all the word in the books. Just guess the meaning of the words. So you can teach that also to your students. Ask them to guess um, the new vocabulary that they meet in the text, and if they have spare time they can go back again to the text and check the meaning of the word. And then paraphrasing. Mhm. If you have more times, if or you can teach your students to stop after reading a paragraph and then try to paraphrasing, like concluding what is the paragraph about, maybe in half a second or 1 second after reading the paragraph. Usually you done this in the silent reading. Okay, what are the tips to improve your students' reading ability? Of course, number one, if you want to teach them speak, as I said, ask them to speak. So if you want to teach them read, let them read. Better to do it every day. So read with them every day. Next is help them recognize letters from word slowly. Okay, so teach them many vocabularies to make them have a lot of vocabularies. So it can help them in understanding the text better. The more vocabularies you have, then the better your comprehensions should be. Okay, next is phonic. Later I will show you, for those who do not know what is phonic, I will show you how to teach reading using phonic. Phone means the sound. Okay, but for Indonesian students who have the same uh, apa, alphabet as English, and the sound also not quite different, not really different. So we escape teaching reading using this method, but I'll show you later so that you know what is phonic. Number four, number one things that you have to do, teacher of young learners, be patient. Next is you have to play with them. Yes, they are love playing. So even though you are going to teach them reading, make the activities as if you are playing with them. Make the play meaningful. So you can play catch cat or go to the park and say the names of things as you go along. So previously, my lecturer when I'm in undergraduate, he told me I taught my son how to speak English by by asking him to say anything he saw using English. For example, they are driving in a car and then they see a cinema, for example. My lecturer will ask him to say, "What is that?" "Oh, that is a cinema." And they drive again and they meet something. She will ask him to say, "What is that?" Yeah, it's like that. So if you want to ask them to read, let them read everything they see along the word, along the street. Okay, number six is sing often with them. Yes, of course. Give them a song and let them read the lyrics and get used to it because children love to sing. So you have to sing often with them. Read in front of them. Yep. Give them example of how to read the words correctly. Let them choose the books they want to read. Let them choose the books they want. Yeah. In a young learners classroom, usually you have like a book corner. So you put some books in the corner of your classroom and let them pick their own books and read that. Do a lot of repetitions. Yes, you have to do a lot of repetitions with any materials you give to young learners because they are, I cannot say they are slow learner, but they have limited ability in understanding something. So it is different with when you teach adults. So you have to do a lot of repetitions, making sure that they know how to spell, they know how to read it correctly. And yes, of course, you have to praise any progress they made, small, big progress. You have to, what is it, praise them. Okay, here are the reading activities for young learners. Okay, phonic, look and say, language experience approach, reading a story from a book, reading familiar nursery rhymes or song, reading aloud, silent reading, reading materials variations, reading card, introducing new books, book review. Okay, let's discuss it one. Okay, this is the example of teaching young learners reading using phonic method. Okay, so phonic method is teaching letters sounds. Okay, please watch this.
So A-E-I-O-U. I will only do the soft sounds here. There are other sounds in here that are taught in the curriculum. You'll see them, like the soft sound for G normally says G, but if it's a soft sound like garage, oh, it says J. So J, sorry, it says J. It says J. I just made the mistake of not using the correct phonics. So it can even happen to the masters themselves. I'm just kidding. I'm not a master. I do correct myself all of the time because I learned with a little bit of a at the end, and so it's very hard to retrain yourself. You may feel the same way. If you say like t for T, t, or R is r, it's So let's go over these quickly. You can repeat after me. A, b, k, d, e, g, h, I, j, k, l, m, n, and you can show the student, this is a really helpful tip. If they can't get the sound, say they're having a really hard time with a word, I show them with my mouth. Take your tongue, and teach them how to create that sound, and they will do it. You just need to teach them. Ah, p, p, p. It's just air. I'll get him, don't worry. We are going to go into number 2, why do we teach synthetic phonics? Let me grab my little honey. Hi everybody, my name's Jack. I just ate. Enjoy all the newborn faces. Snacks. So if I'm blending the word, I do this one-handed, it's fine. If I'm blending the word map, if I taught them the phonics incorrectly, he's just gonna hang out down here. If I taught them M is ma, a, pa, ma-appa. Look at this ma-appa. Do you love it? Do you love my ma-appa? No, it's a, p, p, app, app, map, map. Now that they know map, let's do another word with those same letters. They know all the letters M, A, and P. Let's say that we're now watching The Office. I don't even watch it, my husband does. Pam. Or maybe you want to turn up the volume. You want to turn up the volume in my baby Jack. We don't want to turn up the volume. We don't want to turn it. Amp. So I'm not adding in extra sounds that would make the word incorrect. That is why we do it. Now let's go over the how. For how, I have this, and this is in one of the lessons, a level 2 lesson. If I'm teaching the student how to read beg, let's show you. So imagine I'm pointing to it as I'm doing it, or underlining on the screen, but I only have one arm, so bear with me. B. Egg. Beg. Yes. B-egg. Beg. Yes. Now I have my student. That's why he's squirming. Wow, that was a good burp. legs. Now I'm going to take you into my classroom and show you some classroom footage of a lower level student and then an upper level student on a phonics slide and how they differ because they
Okay, so that is an example of how to teach reading using phonic. I'm not sure if we are Indonesians, we need to teach that to our students. We usually use this next method more, sight word. Okay, so look and see. So we give them a lot of what is it? Written form, and then we read it out to the children and then let them repeat the way we say it. So this is these three activities are the example of teaching reading, especially reading a word for a very young learners. Okay, so this way I will they will try to match the word they hold and the word that is written in the in the yard. Okay, this is a fun activities. It is actually teaching them reading, but it seems they are playing. Or you can ask them to read aloud this. So there is you and j, and there are some other word here that can make a new word when you open this. When you open the paper, this is B, so you can read it as buck. So maybe after B it is J, it can be jug or rock or any word that can combine with U and G. And this is another form of using the same sound at with different consonant. It can be cat, hat, bat, sad, mad, and rat. Okay, so that is the example of look and say, or we call it sight word. So teach them a lot of sight word before you ask them to read a paragraph or a text. Okay, so this is an example of how a mom teaching her daughter using sight word method.
And then once the child has memorized the sight words, I get them out of order. So I just start off by going like this. A, and, away, big, blue. And I can use different tones from her voice. A, and, away, big, blue. And then you can use tunes. A, and, away, big, blue. A, and, away, big, blue. Your turn. Go ahead.
And away, big blue.
Go ahead, keep going.
And away, big blue.
So, you can use any tune you want, and week after week I use different tunes that I just come up with. Whatever just sounds good and sounds like it rhymes. So, every week the child is going to get also a sentence. So here's a sentence for this day. Every day they get a new sentence. So at the end of the week, they're going to have the 5 sentences and the 5 sight words. So for Monday, for example, let's say this is Monday, we went over the sight words and we sang it with a little tune, and then we go over the sentence. And they're going to be able to see the word A. Aris, do you see A here? A is the same as A here. We're using that sight word in here in this sentence. So let's read this sentence, okay? Ready? I ate a hot dog. If your child already knows how to decode, you can have them decode the decodable words. Okay, Iris, can you read that sentence for us? I ate
a hot dog.
Very good. And then that would be it. That's what you do the first day on Monday. The second day, again, you go over the words. Ready, Iris? A and away, big blue. A and away, big blue. Now let's say it without the tune, okay? A
A
and away, big blue. Okay. We're not going to talk about getting them out of order yet. We start doing that on Wednesday. But if you see that your child really is getting it, you can start getting them out of order. Then they get the second sentence. The second sentence, right? So this day, which is Tuesday, we have another sentence. Can we read the sentence, Iris?
The cat and I ran.
The cat and I ran. Very good. Which sight word do you see in here?
That one and that one.
And what's that sight word?
And
And what's this sight word?
A.
Okay, and you want to review the previous day's sentence as well. So you want to review the first sentence and then go on to the second sentence so that every day you're doing review of all of the sentences. So that at the end of the week, they're able to read all 5 sentences. And okay, so then what we do is on Tuesday, we have the child also do this worksheet. And this is a worksheet that they're going to be using their 5 sight words. They're going to be reading them, tracing them, and then writing them. And I'm going to show you Iris doing that in just a minute. Okay, so here we have the worksheet that she's working on in the second day on Tuesday. Iris, can you go ahead and read those sight words for us?
A and away, big blue.
Okay, now read it without the tune.
A and away, big blue.
Now we're going to start off with the A. I want you to trace that A. Then we're going to be writing it. So this is good practice. Not only are they reading it, they're singing it, but now they are writing their sight words. And this all comes, again, with the Teachers Pay Teachers package that you will get. So you will get 2 worksheets. This is one of the worksheets that they would get on Tuesday. And I'm going to share with you the next step now, what the child would do on Wednesday. So they would go ahead and finish tracing and finish this worksheet on Tuesday. Let's move on now. Okay, so now, let's say today's Wednesday. On Tuesday, the child did their writing their sight words. So it's great because they're not only learning how to read the sight words, they're learning how to write the sight words as well. So let's say today's Wednesday, so you got the 3rd sentence up because every day the child gets a new sentence. Okay, ready, Iris? We're going to start. Ready?
A and away, big blue.
A and away, big blue. Now let's say it without the tune. A and away, big blue. And now, Iris, I'm going to ask you these out of order because I think you should know them by now. This is the 3rd day you've been doing them, right? Ready, Iris? What is this sight word here? What's this one?
Blue.
Blue. What's this one?
Wait.
Away. What's this one?
A
A. What's this one?
and
And then what's this one?
big.
Big. So I can get them out of order because Iris should know them. So I can put the sight words out of order here. And Iris should be able to tell me the sight words now on Wednesday. Now you work slowly with your kids, you know.
It's out of order.
It's out of order. What's this word?
They're in the wrong place.
They are. What's this word?
And.
And.
Blue.
Blue. What's this one?
Away.
Away. What's this one?
Away's in a spot.
Away is another spot. And what's this one? What's this?
Okay, great. So that is another method of teaching reading called sight words. So you can choose which one is better. I think this one is better than the previous one. Okay, next. So another method is using language experience approach. So we can choose any pictures that is match your students' characteristic or it tells their everyday activities and then give the picture descriptions and then let the students read. The older your students, you can give longer descriptions. This is an example. There is a picture of a boy riding a bicycle. This is my own pictures when I am riding with my sons. So you can also take your children's or your students' picture doing something and then give a captions after it. So the boy is riding an old bicycle under the blue sky. So your students will guess bicycle. Oh yeah, bike. Sky. Oh, langit. Blue. Okay, biru. Yeah. Okay, something like that. So you can do quite similar thing. Next, you can also ask them to read a storybook. As I said, a book for young learners usually have more pictures than the text. So this is like the example. This is 3 pages of the books I have. I take it and give it to you. You can see the word that is bold having the same sounds. This is good to teach your students reading and speaking as well. Okay, I cry when I try to fly in the sky. The vet will get the pet wet. See, the what is it? The text is describing the picture. So you maybe don't need to translate it in bahasa Indonesia. Just let them guess the meaning of the word by seeing the picture. Okay, the hand in the den has a pen. Next, okay, you can also always reading rhyme. So actually, when you teach them rhyme, you can teach them 3 language scale, or you can even teach 4 language scale. So for example, first when you read it out, you teach them listening. When you ask them to repeat after you teach them speaking, and reading at the same time. And later, when you ask them to, for example, like copy copy the rhyme into their books, you teach them writing, right? So teaching the language skill can be done using the same material. So teaching language skill can always be integrative. So like this rhyme, you there are million of rhyme out there, so you can choose, or maybe you can even make your own rhymes. If you are good in writing poetry or poems, you must be able to make rhymes suitable for your students. I gave you I show you. So there are millions of children books you can download freely, or you can buy cheap, or your school already provided for you. Give it one book for 3 persons, or one book for 2 persons, or one, and then ask them to um, reviewing or reporting what are they readings from the book, what message do they get from the books, by asking them to retell the story. If you want to focus on the reading skill and speaking skill, you can ask them to retell the story in front of the classroom to their friends, or you can ask them to rewrite or retell the story in in a piece of paper if you want to focus on the writing skill too. For a younger learner and they do not have a good reading skill yet, so you can use this worksheet. So you give this along with the books, ask them to read the books, and then ask them to fill in the worksheet. So you can ask them what is the title of the books, who is the author, and then there are 3 smiley. If they love the books, you can circle this, or they don't really like it, they can circle this neutral face. And then if they don't like the book, they can circle this sad smiley face. And for a younger learner, for an older learner, maybe those who already able to write, you can ask them to write down the things that they like best from the book by fill in this square. Maybe they will like, for example, it is colorful, for example, or they only say the color, or maybe I don't know. Let's see what part of the book they like. Or for older learner, you can have a longer worksheet asking them to write or to comprehend more about the books. Okay, this is of course for an older learner, and maybe for a thicker book. So you ask them about the setting, the time and place, the main character, who are the main character in the books, and what are the theme, and then ask them to retell the story by writing the summary. And then see, there are further questions you can ask to your students. For example, like, what part of the story did you like the best? What part of the story did you like the best? Would you recommend this book to others? If yes, why? If not, why? So let them fill in this worksheet. Next, okay, so we are already in the nature of writing. Okay. Writing is the last skill you should teach to your students, because more skills that is needed when you teach writing. There are 3 steps in teaching writing. There should be a pre-writing activities and the writing itself, and then the revising or editing steps and proofreading. So pre-writing is the children try to gather informations and organize it into a cohesive unit. Even me, until now, it quite hard to start writing something. Get an idea of what to write is seems the most difficult things to do, not only for the children but for adult too. When once we got the idea, if we already able to express our ideas in a writing form, it far more easier. But you have to check their grammar, usage, punctuations, and also like the cohesions and also the diction. After they write down the writings, you need to make sure that they use the right words, the right sentence, and the right what is it, way of writing. Whether you want to describe or narrate or giving a comment. Okay, that is in the process of editing or revising. And then the proofreading. So proofreading is another skill in writing. Okay, you need to ask them to proof their own work or maybe their friend's work. Okay, what are the tips to teach writing? First, don't be rash. Start out slow. You work with children, not with adults. And then use simple sentence structure first. For example, like subject, predicate, predicate, see, subject, verb, and object. Just introduce them with how to make a very simple sentence like um, I I love to study, or I love to write. I love to eat, for example. Or subject, be, verb, ing plus object. For example, like I am writing a story, or I am studying English, for example, or any other simple statement. Yes, help them write using visual cues. In pre-writing activities, use more pictures and video or visual things to help them get the ideas and know what to write. And then gradually give more difficult writing exercise. Okay, if at the beginning you ask them to read word, then next you ask them to read sentence, and then later you ask them to write paragraph, and then ask them to write essay, and maybe later they can be a book writer, who knows. Introduce the dictionary and the thesaurus. Yes, of course, even us, we cannot live without dictionary. We always meet new word if we read more. So teach them how to use dictionary and thesaurus in a quick way. And then cloze test. Cloze test is like you give them a reading text, and then you omit certain words in the reading text, and then ask them to fill in the blanks to see how good they are in picking the right words to fill in the text, so that the text sound logic and has a story in it. Okay, we come to the writing activities. In writing activities, as I said, we divide them into three writing activities. First is controlled writing activities, next is guided writing activities, and the last one is free writing activities. When we do a controlled writing activities, this is like, if you still remember the 3P in in the teaching and learning theory: presentations, practice, and productions. Okay, so this is the same with when we teach writing. We should teach the students in that 3 steps. So before you let them practice, you have to present something. In this way, we call it in control writing activities. So teach them how to write. For example, we want them to write a letter. So before you ask them to independently write a letter, at the beginning, you have to show them a good letter. It must be consist of date on the right side, grid at the left side, the body in the middle, and the closing at the bottom, for example. And then what are the words that can be used in a good letter? And then in the guided writing activities or in the practice, you can give them a blank, not a blank, but a full letter that you omit some of the word and let them fill in the blanks, for example. And then at the last one, in the production sessions or in the free writing activities, you can give them a blank forms that they have to fill in, and then give them an idea where should they but what to write in the letter. Okay, let's talk about it one. Okay, controlled writing activities. As I said, in controlled writing activities, we assume that our students cannot write it yet. So you can using this activities. First, you can use straight copying. Ya kayak gitu. Kalian bisa lihat di gambarnya itu kan, look at the picture, there are some words that is printed bold, but there are some word that is printed in dots. So you can ask your student to trace the shadow, the word in shadow. In the here, while here, okay, you can see here, see this one. This is so there are many choice of noun at the end, and the students must write down, like copying what they see above in the blank space under the sentence. So we have a lot of word here. They have to write down this is a blah blah blah, because this is a form. This is so you teach them grammar actually here, but you put the different noun here. It can be buck, it can be jug, it can be anything. Oh, this is duck, this is a hen. Okay, it can be your ideas later when you teach young learners. And this is matching. So you already give them the choice that they can choose what to write below the nouns. For example, this is ini apa? Sepeda motor. Oh, motor ini, motorbike. Jadi mereka akan meniru tulisannya motorbike and write it down here. Okay, good. That is matching activities. You can also do delayed. This is interesting. Delayed copying or copying books or dictations. Dictation seems like listening, right? We also discussed about dictations in listening. But here we try to combine between dictations, between listening and reading, and also writing. Delayed copying means that, for example, you close dictations and delayed copying is different. In delayed copying, we deals with reading and writing. So let them read. Let them read this, for example, the slowly rhymes for 2 seconds, for example, or for 1 minute, for example, and then in another minute you close it. Let them remember how to copy the rhymes without seeing the written forms. This is what we call delayed copying. So we delay them to copy. Or if it is too long, you can ask them to close using some papers, the first paragraph, and try to write it down. Okay, so it can be copying books. If we ask them to just write down this rhyme, these 2 rhyme in their books. It can be delayed copying if we close the rhymes while they are writing. Or it can be dictations if you do not show the rhymes into the students, but you read it out and then you ask them to write. You may choose which one is suitable with your students. Of course, you have to think about the level of your students' writing skill or the ability of writing of your. Next is we go to a higher level of writing ability. For those who are already able to write, you can use these guided writing activities. Like this one. The first one here, sorry. Number 1, oh, the A. Okay. The A. This is a combination of teaching, listening, and writing. So give them this worksheet, 20 sentences with some word omitted, and then in front of the classroom you read out the sentence completely and let them write down the word that you read but is not in the worksheet. So this is guided writing activities. So you teach listening and writing as well. Okay, this is different. As I said previously, that you can teach your students how to write letters to their friends, or how to write a good email to their friends or to someone else by introducing them to the form of a good letter. So you can give them, what is it, the this one. So this is like, so you can omit actually the fields of the boxes here. This is the date, this is the greeting, and also the content. Give them a square and let them fill in themselves. Okay, so that is an example of guided writing activities. Of course, there are a lot of guided writing activities out there, but this is only an example. The point is, in a guided writing activities, you do not give them what to write from A to C, but let them decide what to fill in, and or what to write in your worksheet. Next is in free writing activities. We usually use these free writing activities if your student is a good, might, have a good writing ability already, but you want to improve their writing ability, and you can use this. You can use this days the things that I will mention after this to help them write a good writing. So as I said, the hardest part in writing is finding the ideas. So you can help them finding their ideas and write things down. Write a good paragraph. So this is like an example, and I want you to write down in the comment box. For example, I have this picture. This is the one that I use in the reading section. This is a picture, and you give them what is it? First sentence of the picture to trigger your students. For example, the boy is riding an old bicycle under the blue sky. And then, okay, now, so I want you to write down in the comment box the continuations of my sentence. Make a paragraph based on to the picture here. Okay, so wait, I will read your paragraph in the comment box, so don't forget to put down your names and your class. Say when you give them a good ideas of what to write and help them to write smoothly, then they will write better. So you can use pictures, you can use vocabulary chart. So this is vocabulary chart. If you want them to write down a text talking about their health, you can give this health problem vocabulary chart. So for example, waduh saya sakit perut, so she can see in the vocabulary chart, kalau sakit perut bahasa Inggrisnya apa misalnya, oh stomachache. Okay, so they can write it down. Or if you want them to write down about the things they bring to the school, you can show them the vocabulary chart of things that we can bring to school. So rather than asking them to open their dictionary, better for you when you teach young learners to give them vocabulary chart of the topic that day. Or you can give them for an older learner, you can only give them a picture and let them describe freely based on the picture that you show. Oh, this is interesting. You can ask them to write down something in a project. So this is example. The question is things that I love, and you want them to make to answer the questions in the shape of heart. In the shape of heart. Okay, here is one of the children work. So when the teacher asks him to write down the things that he loved, he write down Tumblr, Nutella, Hunger Games, spending Friday night on Tumblr. See, so everyone can write down different things there, and you can get get to know your students deeper by reading their project here, by seeing the writing, or you can ask them to make another project like this one, my love map, the things that she loved. She loved learning, she loved the sun, she loved dancing, she loved food, Hawaii, baseball. See, it will be fun. She loves her friends. Okay, so that's all for today. If you have any questions during my explanations, as usual, I will be happy to answer the questions in the WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you. Stay healthy, helpful, and calm. Inshallah, we will meet again next week in other topic. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.